That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan.
Man, everybody talking about this. This video is brought to you by Ground.News, brought to you by Ground.News, my sponsor. I need you guys to go and support them. This is how the B. Tatum show and the YouTube channel keep going, and how I can pay for all these employees are really good, passionate, like-minded sponsors that sponsor the show. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bells and get notification anytime I go live, make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, Joe Rogan, Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump. You love Donald Trump. That's why you watching me. Most people that watch me love Donald Trump. If you don't, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I think the world of Joe Rogan. I think he's an incredibly smart guy. I love his podcast. You know, I never watch his comedic shows, but the last one he did that I just saw, I thought it was good. And some of y'all don't like Joe Rogan. You're entitled to your own opinion. But let me say this about the Joe Rogan and Donald Trump conflict. If you're not familiar, Donald Trump is upset with Joe Rogan because of this clip. Now, I'm going to play the clip for you guys so you can see, and then we're going to get into who do I think is right and wrong in this scenario. Before I get to that video, I want to tell you guys about our sponsor, Ground.News. This is why I love them real quick, because when you're watching this and you're listening to what I got to say, like, y'all need to be verifying what I say, right? And this is the place where you can verify. Why? Because an article like this, Joe Rogan, and you know, kind of gave a little soft approach to supporting RFK Jr., and Trump got mad at it, and we can see what everybody's saying about it. The funny thing is that everybody equally want to talk about this, and the censor really believes this is important, which I think is incredibly important in the dialogue. So you can go through and you can listen to or read what the left is saying in the synopsis, center, right, or the bias comparison. And you can read, because this generates a bias comparison of which side is saying what in comparison to the other side versus the center. You can find the articles that you want. So you don't just listen to me, go find articles. Go read the articles from the left, read some from the center, some from the right. You can also diagnose what the biases are with these little tabs on the side. So you can see right here, that tab, you can see the factuality, how factual the articles are coming across as. Also the ownership. Is it a media conglomerates? Is it wealthy private owners, or is it independent news? And you can see that it's a pretty significant spread across the three categories. Also, you can pick what you want to hear. You want to hear news about Joe Rogan? Click Joe Rogan. You want to hear news about RFK? Click RFK. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. You can get it all right here. So I need you guys to go to ground.news/Tatum, subscribe through my link, get 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the plan that I use for unlimited access. Shout out to Ground.News. Go and support the sponsors that support conservatives. Let's get to this video real quick.
That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was an environmental attorney and cleaned up the East River. I mean, he's a legitimate guy. You know, before anybody started calling him an anti-vaxxer, which I thought he was too. I thought he was this nut, this like conspiracy theorist nut, until I read his book. I read The Real Anthony Fauci, and I'm like, what is it? How much of this is real? Because if it's all real, this is and we live in a world where we're being manipulated by these health organizations that are being paid by the pharmaceutical drug interests. And these pharmaceutical drug companies are pumping these products out into the population and telling us that we need them, and then making insane amounts of money. And then also the government is in on it. And also they share a patent with Moderna. And also they share profits. And there's $700 million, I mean, however much money was made, whatever the number is that these guys made off of these products, like this is all of it is There's the revolving door between the CDC and the FDA and then these pharmaceutical drug companies. So the people that make the regulations then go on to have these cushy jobs with the pharmaceutical drug corporations. Like, oh, nothing to see here. It's like it's open. It's right out in the open.
Right.
And when he talks about all that stuff in his book, you're just like, what, man? If this wasn't true, he would be sued.
Yeah. But
So it seems to be true.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing because people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be attacked. You know, they don't want to be called an anti-vaxxer. That's a big one.
Right.
You know?
So this is the clip that prompted Donald Trump to write on his X account. We'll pop the verbiage up here. This is pretty much what Donald Trump wrote on X as a response to what Joe Rogan just said, the video we just watched. He said, it would be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring. MAGA 2024. Now, here's my opinions on this real quick. I think Donald Trump should sit this out. I honestly think that Donald Trump should not comment anything negative about Joe Rogan. I thought that Joe Rogan could have had the pendulum swing closer and closer in Donald Trump's direction. And now Joe Rogan has no choice but to hate Donald Trump even more because he's suggesting that at Joe Rogan's venue, where people love Joe Rogan outside of politics, he's a commentator for the UFC and had a tremendous story with how he even got the position at the UFC, close friends with Dana White. He has the biggest podcast in the world. And I think it wouldn't be fruitful to say something to cause a rift or a conflict. I think Donald Trump could have said something that was more jokingly, like laughing, like, haha, that's funny. RFK has no chance of winning. Or something of that nature, instead of saying, watch how much he get booed next time he go to his job, his profession where he's excellent at. I just didn't think that was I don't think that stuff is a good move. Donald Trump, in my opinion, will win handedly if he's above the fray. That means that let influencers and surrogates and people argue back and forth about these points. Donald Trump is above the fray. He don't have to even talk on this stuff. All he should be doing is talking about policy. Policy, what you're going to do as the president, having a unifying message. Don't get into the rigmarole in the weeds with these people. Because a lot of people like Joe Rogan. And people are going to have to make a decision. Oh, I don't like Trump no more. Or, it's unnecessary. He should have just retweeted and laughed and said, haha, Joe Rogan. Or even put a laughy emoji or something in this post to make it seem like, yeah, I'm cool with this guy. I'm just joking. I don't know who's advising Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody can advise Donald Trump. I don't know what the scenario is. And I love Donald Trump, and I want him to win. He got my vote. He signed my hat. I appreciate Donald Trump, man. But, like, somebody needs to say, Trump, you are going to win everybody that loved you before, just about. There's a group of people that are on the fence, and there's a group of people that are losing hope in both sides. So Kamala has to be controversial. She has to be far left. She's going to have to take some radical, crazy stances. She backed herself in a corner. She has nowhere else to go but radical. And she picked a VP that's radical. All Donald Trump has to do is sit back and say, I'm the adult in the room. When he was at that event with them ignorant black women, all he had to do is play the game. Like Barack Obama did. Like these other people do. A black woman say, you criticize Kamala Harris on the color of her skin. What he could say is, you know what? I have a lot of respect for black women. I think black women are the salt of the earth. A lot of successful, great black women. He could talk about the women that he's helped. He could talk about him being on Oprah Winfrey's show. He could just lambast about how wonderful black women are. However, Kamala Harris doesn't represent those women. Kamala Harris ain't like them. They not like us. I'm surprised that y'all not saying that. Because Kamala Harris didn't even claim her heritage of being black until more recently. Yes, she went to an HBCU. Yes, she plays as an AKA. You don't have to be black to go to HBCU, and you don't have to be black to play as AKA. You don't. I used to think you did until I went to University of Arizona and had some Mexican AKAs. I said, how is that possible? I thought it was a black sorority. But regardless of that, what are we saying? Play the game. So therefore, when they soundbite you, they got to soundbite you saying that black women are the salt of the earth. You don't have to really believe it. I don't know. It's a game. You got to play politics. What are we even saying here? And so I think that Donald Trump can win on acting and behaving like that during the home stretch. Don't argue with Cardi B and them. Don't argue with Megan Thee Stallion. Don't argue online with these celebrity types. You stay above the fray. You stay unified. You stay talking about policies. That's the only thing anybody need to hear from Donald Trump is policy, 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 policy. This is what I'm going to do when I become president. Here's all the things that I have done. Here's my track record. Here's my proof. Like, I don't get it. I disagree with Joe Rogan's stance. I mean, I think RFK ain't. But me and Joe Rogan don't see eye to eye on that. RFK is no better than any of these people. He just don't have a big infrastructure enough to attack people and do all that stuff. Nobody's listening to him. He can barely talk. Is he a brilliant guy? He's probably very smart. I thought that Donald Trump and him on a ticket would be a good ticket. Would Joe Rogan have endorsed if Donald Trump had him on the ticket? I don't know. But if you talking about gun grabbing and censoring speech, I have nothing. And you talking about that Fauci ouchie, and well, he's against that. But and you talking about the Green New Deal and all that stuff, I can't rock with you, Shawty. I can't rock with you. It's completely ridiculous to me. I'm a red blood Republican that love this country. And I think we should have the freedom of speech. You should be able to say whatever you want to say. If it's racist, if it's prejudice, if it's you should be able to say whatever you want to say. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna say what I want to say to you. And if I don't like this and I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to hear what you say, I just don't listen to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Who do you think is wrong in this? I really want to hear from. I'm gonna go look at the comments. Who do you think is wrong in this? Do you think both of them are wrong? Neither are wrong? Or you think Joe Rogan shouldn't have said what he said? Or you think Trump shouldn't have, gave an opinion about this when he's so close to the election? Let me know. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.